have seen the future of horror. His name is Clive Barker. Hellraiser. Beyond any terror you have imagined. A nightmare.
No.
Unlike anything you have witnessed, is born. Because within these walls, the unholy is unleashed. Hellraiser, a film by Clive Barker.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dan Aykroyd podcast. I am your host, Scott White. And so this is a little bit out of the box. This is what we would call stretching the Dan Aykroyd podcast, where the subject that we're working with is very, 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 very lightly connected to Dan Aykroyd. Emmy was like, let's do Hellraiser. And I'm like, but Dan Aykroyd's not in Hellraiser. And she goes, there is a connection between Dan Aykroyd and Hellraiser.
I'm pretty sure
I said, what is it? And she goes, I'll tell you when we do the podcast. So what's the connection?
Okay, this is exactly how that conversation went. So, from my memory completely, because this is where this story originated, Dan Aykroyd was sick with the malaria and had to go.
Totally wrong. Wow.
He was broken the bone, or he was something. He was seeing a movie. He went to go see Hellraiser.
Okay, so you know what? Our friend Kristen. Well, guess what? She's gonna do a voiceover right here, telling us what's gonna happen.
And here's a little info on how Hellraiser influenced Nothing But Trouble. The story was developed after a screening of the 1987 film Hellraiser that producer Robert K. Weiss attended with Dan and Peter Aykroyd. Weiss had fractured a rib and suggested the three attend a film to take his mind off the injury, but that it couldn't be a comedy because it hurt him to laugh, which is why the Aykroyd brothers chose a horror film. Once the movie started and the three saw the audience laughing at the film, Weiss suggested that they make a horror comedy together, since audiences wanted to laugh and be scared at the same time.
All right, so that's why this movie, Hellraiser, that Dan Aykroyd saw with his brother and his agent with the broken ribs.
Malaria, ribs, close.
That's why he made the movie Nothing But Trouble. After they saw this movie, people were laughing and scared at the same time. Why don't we make a movie where people laugh and are scared at the same time? So Hellraiser led to the movie Nothing But Trouble. And Nothing But Trouble, I did a podcast with Kristen and our friend Emily. So that is on here if you want to go back and listen to that podcast. So that's why we're doing Hellraiser. That is the tenuous link between Hellraiser and Dan Aykroyd.
The loosest of all connections. Also, I was super confused because I remember you telling me the story about Nothing But Trouble, and I totally missed the part that we were going to actually talk about Hellraiser because Dan Aykroyd has literally nothing to do with the actual movie Hellraiser, except that he saw it, and I also saw it. So that's something that we haven't.
Did you make a movie based on it?
Yes.
We'll do that one next time.
Great. I have time to make a movie.
So Hellraiser, 1987, directed and written by Clive Barker, who it was based on his short novella, The Hellbound Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Clive Barker has only directed 2 movies, this one and another one, and I looked it up, but the name escapes me. The reason he directed this movie is he wrote a movie called Rawhead Rex. Have you seen Rawhead Rex?
No, but I forgot that movie existed. I've heard of it.
Yes, it's a cult classic now, but it's not for the right reasons.